Hi everyone, TSW here, and in this video I'm going to go through Utgarde Keep on heroic mode as a walkthrough from the point of view of a protection warrior, and I'll be as general as I can to help anyone with any role going through the heroic. So this is the lowest level normal mode. We're going to go through all of the heroics in order. This is a big pull that we're trying here. Unfortunately we do wipe. Our gear is pretty good for heroics, but not good enough to do. This is almost 3 packs, you could say, at once. The gear of the group is roughly halfway between pre-raid and best in slots. So we've got a few epics on each of us. So after learning our lesson, we're pulling more restrictively, like 3 or 4 mobs at once, and it goes a lot smoother. These initial mobs, they stun, which is the main reason why I died at the beginning. Also, I wasn't really given that much time to pick up all the mobs, but the stun is where the damage comes on the tank, as well as a stacking Sunder Armor debuff you can see near the middle of my screen above the target frame. So I'm opening up a program or something as well. I'm just checking if I've got beta. This is not on the actual beta. This is on a private server, but don't tell anyone. We're trying to do a skip, but it's not working. So you just need to go around anti-clockwise around this big furnace in the center of the room. And all these mobs are stunnable, slowable, CCable, although you don't want to waste your time CCing anything. Just pump heals into the tank, drop as much healing as you can, and just mana up if you need to, and then just pull the next pack. That's going to be quicker generally than trying to CC anything. These mobs can, depending on your gear level, you can see my gear there. I got lucky and got the axe from week 2 of 25-man Nax clears. Because the Paladin tank got it first time, and me as off-spec tank got it second time. Nice. Okay, so the Sunder Armor debuff is about to fade. Again, these mobs are all stunnable. Shockwave is very, very powerful. Prot warriors are very, very powerful at the beginning of the expansion, but they really taper off and just start sucking pretty much immediately once you hit level 80. They just are essentially frozen in time and don't get better at all. So we've got a knockback here from these mobs. Don't worry too much about it. I face myself specifically in this orientation so that I'm not getting knocked back into any of the additional trash packs. Okay, that's very important, just so you're not randomly pulling extra and having to deal with the consequences. We do have a priest in our group, so I am encouraging him or asking him to do Mind Soothe. So I'm just marking up some mobs and the Mind Soothe. I don't know what goes wrong here, if it's a resist or he uses the wrong spell, I don't know. Anyway, one thing that you really want to try and exploit or use to the best of its ability is Mind Soothe. So if you've got a priest, just try and get them Mind Soothing as many humanoids as possible. Ideally, the priest is proactive and is running up before the tank or with the tank. Some form of communication is great, just to see if you can skip as much trash as possible. Now these mobs can be a bit tricky. There are casters here, but it's interruptible. It's the rune or runic something where you can just interrupt them, and it's fine. It's no problem at all. One of the big changes in Wrath of the Lich King is every class basically has an interrupt, and it's off the global cooldown. This is the first boss, and what I will say is you want everyone to be stacked at the beginning. Prince Kaleseth is the boss. The Shadow Bolts on this server at least aren't spell reflectable. It's really nice if you're stacking on the boss, because just then for a split second a player was Ice Tombed. The Ice Tomb doesn't have much HP, but for example, let's say you don't have any melee. It's difficult to break you just want everyone to be stacked so then melee can help break anything. The Ice Block has the Ice Tomb has a very low HP, and also the skeletons which come into the fight and resurrect themselves. It's all just easier for everything stacked together. And then we're just going to progress. The boss again is very easy. Even on heroic mode, it's really not it's really not difficult. If you can clear the first hallway of the instance, you can clear the whole dungeon pretty much. I'd say the last boss can be a bit tricky if you are clueless about any kind of strategy. And that's about it. The trash is really the most annoying part, just because there's so much of it. We're trying to have the priest Mind Soothe here, and he just walks to the left and pull this pack, which is skippable without a Mind Soothe, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We're just going to kill it anyway. And then I think we're just going to not bother to do any Mind Soothes because... Oh, is he going to try? I think we pull this pack again anyway. But it's really good to learn which packs are Mind Soothable, just because you're going to be running the heroics quite a few times, because the pre-raid gear is insane. And also the Emblem of Heroism, the rewards for that is insane. Okay, you're going to be able to get tier 8 gear, sorry, tier 7 gear, very, very early just by spamming the heroics once a day. And if you can do them more quickly, that's only going to assist you. It gives you time to do your cooking daily, or your level up your fishing, whatever you want to do. You know, it's really nice just to free up that time and not be spending all day farming the heroics when there are other things, and there are lots of other things in Wrath of the Lich King that you can be doing. Again, Death Knights, there are lots of mobs that are casters. And whilst a warrior such as myself can spec into gag order talents, which make my heroic throw silence the target as well as my shield bash, but most importantly, having a ranged silence from a warrior is really good to bring in that ranged mob that's casting. Obviously, if I throw the heroic throw, it's silenced. It's going to hopefully be aggroed on me. If not, I can taunt it at range in Wrath of the Lich King, and then the mob runs into me and everything's in melee. Nice. But if there are two casters, it can be tricky, or if I need to burn my taunt on another mob and the heroic throw doesn't deal enough threat for the tank to get taunt. What I'm saying is Death Grip from the Death Knight is insanely powerful for picking up ranged mobs and just bringing them into melee. Okay, so the second boss is like Romulo and Julianne from Kara. You want to kill them both at the same time. It's not as punishing as Romulo and Julianne, because once one of them dies, they just have like a shadow form version of themselves, which will just continue to do their mechanics. The annoying thing is that the male boss does a charge, as you saw just at the end, and the female mob just casts a shadow bolt on a random player in the group. So very easy. The most important thing, I suppose, is just making sure that the healer has mana before the pull. Here's another pack where we see the Death Knight Death Grip. Very, very useful. I've got Vigilance on the Death Knight just to make sure that I can taunt as much as I can. And then from a healing point of view, yeah, it's just making sure you have mana. Just spend as much mana as you want each pack and just drink frequently. That's like the best recommendation. Again, it's not terribly difficult. After this pack, you want to all mount up because you can skip the next mob. So you can see we're mounting up, and there's a little animation of this mob landing, flying down from the sky, and you can just skip him and not get into combat. That's one of the easiest skips in the dungeon. Like one of the first ones we actually successfully achieve here. And then we kill the last pack. Make sure you're not using your cooldowns on these mobs. Mount up again because it's a little bit of a walk to the final boss. And if I just check on WoW Wiki, we have the last boss here. In Utgarde, the Plunderer. So in P1, he does a few abilities. He has a Staggering Roar, which is like an AoE damage. You don't want to be casting when this happens because you get silenced for 6 seconds. There's a Smash, which is a frontal cone, and I just walk through him because he doesn't turn when he's casting the Smash, and a Cleave and an Enrage. But just avoid the Cleave and kill him before Enrage. And then in P2, he gets resurrected, as we see here. And he has a Dark Smash, which is the same as before, same as his Smash, just a frontal cone, avoid it. He has a Dreadful Roar, which is same as the Staggering Roar, just outrange it. Or not outrange it, just deal with it, don't cast. And then he has a Shadow Axe where he throws his axe and it just does a whirlwind on a random player. Just move away from the whirlwind axe. It will stay still and you can just avoid it by walking away. And that's Utgarde Keep on Heroic. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please like the video, subscribe for more. I'm going to be doing all the heroics. And yeah, thank you again. Bye.